The first law of thermodynamics is basically that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So it's the law of conservation of energy. So the big picture to me would be it makes sense to have natural resource energy priced in digital energy. I think of Bitcoin as digital energy. And so from the law of conservation of energy, that makes sense. You keep the loop closed. Pricing something in fiat is like pricing something in a ruler or measuring something in a ruler that continuously changes, right? I mean, the government's changed the length of a ruler. So you can't rely on that unit of account. Ultimately, I believe there will be a time when everything else is priced in Bitcoin, and that is the truest measure of account, Bitcoin.
In recent months, the global landscape has witnessed significant geopolitical shifts with potential implications for the world order. One notable event was Chinese President Xi Jinping's state visit to Russia, where he engaged in friendly talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This visit occurred shortly after China successfully mediated a peace deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran, putting an end to long-standing hostilities. These developments suggest a diminishing influence of the United States in the Middle East and highlight China's aspirations to establish a multipolar world order. Amidst these changes, the petrodollar system, which has maintained the US dollar's dominance as the world's reserve currency for over 5 decades, faces a growing threat. China, along with the BRICS alliance, has managed to garner support from Saudi Arabia, Iran, and other OPEC members, all aiming to challenge the dollar's primacy. While the coalition's focus appears to be on dethroning the dollar, the question of a suitable replacement currency remains uncertain. Bitcoin strategist Greg Foss believes that Bitcoin could emerge as a potential winner in this scenario, transitioning from being denominated in US dollars to becoming a viable alternative to fiat currencies. These geopolitical developments surrounding the petrodollar system and the potential rise of Bitcoin as a global currency are reshaping the fault lines in American politics and the international arena. The influence of cryptocurrencies transcends traditional party lines and generational divisions, encompassing debates on establishment versus anti-establishment forces, centralization versus decentralization, and the role of the state in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. As these discussions unfold, they offer a glimpse into the future of global politics and the potential transformation of the global financial landscape.
Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop your comment and observations in the comment section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
But let's start with what the petrodollar is, which is a very strategic advantage for the United States. So it's not surprising that some of the not-so-friendly nations of the United States are looking to destabilize the petrodollar. What does it mean when oil and natural gas are priced in US dollars? It means essentially that the USA can print energy. Think of that strategic advantage that has, and the flip side, the negative effects it has for a country like Russia. Russia is selling its valuable natural resource energy for US dollars that are debasing, firstly, but also that can be frozen. U.S. Treasury assets get frozen and whatnot.
So it was selling its energy in dollars, but given the sanctions, it's now moved away from that.
There you go. But they're not the only nation that would be subject to those challenges. If we bring it back to the idea, and you did mention this, that Bitcoin is priced in fiat. Fiat is just a measuring stick. Your house is priced in fiat. The value of your house hasn't really changed, in that shelter still is equally valuable today as it was 30 years ago. The only thing that's happened is the price of that house measured in US dollars has increased because of the unit of account, which is the US dollar, has decreased in value on a relative basis. So when we say that Bitcoin is priced in fiat, that's just a measuring stick. But I like to say 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. You know, there will be a time when fiat is actually priced in Bitcoin, not the flip side. Energy will maybe not be the first step, because we're seeing the first steps right now, but energy will be the most important step. That will be the big event that I believe causes, people to realize why Bitcoin is so darn cheap at a price that it's currently trading at today relative to where it could go, priced in fiat. Now, again, pricing something in fiat is like pricing something in a ruler or measuring something in a ruler that continuously changes, right? I mean, the government's changed the length of a ruler. So you can't rely on that unit of account. Ultimately, I believe there will be a time when everything else is priced in Bitcoin, And that is the truest measure of a count, Bitcoin. If we go back to the principle that 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, then we don't get confused with, the relative trading pair. We call it a trading pair. So, much like the Canadian dollar trades as a trading pair against the US dollar, the Bitcoin trades as a trading pair against the US dollar. That trading pair is on its way out, in my opinion. And that's why if you start with how about this? What is Bitcoin worth in a barrel of oil? Okay, so you have a volume of oil. How much of that barrel of oil does 1 Bitcoin buy? You've taken the US dollar out of the equation altogether. Does one Bitcoin equal, so you could do the math in your head, $30,000 US per Bitcoin, 1 barrel of oil equals, we're running with it, but that will change over time so that you measure Bitcoin in barrels of oil, not in fiat.
According to Foss, the inherent mathematical purity of Bitcoin positions it as the ideal replacement for the petrodollar system. He argues that Bitcoin was specifically designed to dismantle the existing fiat currency scheme, making it the logical choice to replace the world's dominant fiat currency. While other alternatives like a gold-backed currency have been proposed by BRICS nations, Foss contends that such alternatives would encounter similar issues as existing fiat currencies, including susceptibility to manipulation by powerful member states. Instead, Foss sees Bitcoin as the logical conclusion, not just for pricing oil but also for other commodities like gold, natural gas, and silver. He believes that Bitcoin's decentralized nature and mathematical properties make it resistant to manipulation, offering a more stable and transparent system for pricing these valuable assets. In his interview, Foss delves into his projected timeline for the transition from the petrodollar to a potential Petrovich coin, highlighting the transformative potential of Bitcoin in reshaping global economic systems.
Even with the development of the Bitcoin commerce, you have places like El Salvador where you don't ever transact in US dollars. Now, it's only a small part of the population, but it's a toehold that will increase. So you have it increasing at the micro level. Does it happen at the macro level quickly? I don't know. But those sorts of macro events, they do happen. And when they happen, they change the whole world order. Have you ever tried to transfer a lot of gold across the international borders?
Other than that time I was smuggling.
There you go.
Around.
No, well, let's just say that you could price it in gold, but that's ancient technology. And I'm not anti-gold.
But you could have gold-backed digital tokens on the block.
If you know where you're going to go from point A to point B, why take a detour? Go straight from point A to point B. Point B being price everything in a digital commodity that's transferable, portable, verifiable, everything that's beautiful about Bitcoin that you can't do with gold. I mean, how much gold currently exists in the vaults? We don't know. It's not auditable. And how much of that gold that we think exists in the vaults could be tungsten? I don't know, and I don't care. I'm not pitching gold. I am pitching Bitcoin, which is defendable by math and code, and you don't argue with that. It's proof of work, and it's the law of conservation of energy, which is nature, okay? You can't mess with mathematics, and you cannot mess with nature. Well, I have a trading expression, right? You give a target, but not a time. Because if you do both, you'll be wrong on one, right? So,
or not.
Well, you could, but I would just say it's a process, okay? So, you look at my price target on Bitcoin, and then people ultimately ask, well, when's it going to get there? And I say, I can't give both. I can give a target, but not a time. I measure the target in today's dollars, and then by the time it gets there, we do the adjustment as to what it would be in today's dollars. The same thing. Why does it get to that price? Well, there's global macro events that include these types of events. I don't know when they'll happen. I'm just very comfortable projecting that they will happen. It's just the law of probabilities.
Greg Foss has put forth a compelling and straightforward argument in favor of transitioning to Bitcoin as a universal measure of commodity value, as well as for assessing the worth of other fiat currencies. Even if the BRICS alliance were to adopt another fiat currency in the future, Foss suggests that it would likely face similar challenges as the current issues surrounding the US dollar. This raises the question, can Bitcoin truly replace the dollar as the world's reserve currency? We invite you to share your thoughts and insights on Foss's interview and the potential role of Bitcoin in reshaping the global economic landscape. Please feel free to leave your comments and observations in the section below. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.